YouTube ads tutorial. Hi, my name is John Armstrong. I have nothing to sell you inside of this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start scaling your YouTube ads. Now, this video is part of a 12 video free series that I've just put out where I go into detail on the type of product that you want to create specifically for YouTube ads, how to dial in your messaging, your marketing, how to create your VSLs, your webinars, how to create your ads, how to start scaling your ads, and how to do retargeting, right? It's all part of a 12-part video series, completely free of charge, and you can grab that by clicking on the first link down below in the description of this YouTube video. So, we're going to start scaling our ads. Now, in the previous video, we set up our ads and we set a $5 budget per day for our ads. Now, we're going to run these ads for around 7 to 10 days, and it all depends on how aggressive you want to go with your scaling. If your ad account has some history behind it, you can probably start scaling your ads to $20 a day pretty quickly. But if it's a brand new account, I don't advise doing that, because if you scale too fast, it's going to raise a lot of red flags and you may get your account suspended. So go slow. But in those first 10 days, okay, by the time those 10 days are finished, you'll have spent $50 on each campaign and you'll start to have some data. So what we're looking at to begin with are our cost per lead. Now, this is why tracking is so essential, because like you can see in my ad account here, I've integrated this with Hyros. I've got the plugin here which shows me all of this data, right? You got the number of sales, the cost per sale, the amount of leads, the cost per lead, the total revenue, the total profit. Now, granted, this campaign absolutely bombed, but I'm still going to use it as an example because I did get some good data from it. So with the first 7 to 10 days, all we're looking at is the cost per lead, right? And we want to try, well, ultimately, we're going to be scaling the campaigns that have the lowest cost per lead in the beginning, right? In the beginning, that is the only real data metric that we're going to be looking at, cost per lead, or CPL. Now later, once we start generating some sales across a few different campaigns, we're no longer going to be looking at cost per lead, we're actually going to be looking at cost per sale, right? How much does it cost us in ad spend to make one sale, right? And we want to be scaling the campaigns that have the lowest cost per sale, because that just makes sense. And if you don't have any kind of tracking software in place, it's going to make it almost impossible to be able to track this data accurately. And as a result, you're probably going to spend more money on losing campaigns and ultimately end up burning money, and you're going to be putting your money in the wrong place, right? So you need to have a tracking software. The one that I use is Hyros. I talked to you about this in a previous video. But anyway, if we're looking at the cost per lead, in the beginning, this is going to be pretty low. I mean, if we're spending less than $50 per campaign per day, you're probably going to be getting some pretty low cost per leads. And when I mean low cost per leads, you want to be aiming for anything under $5, right? You may be getting leads for over $5. That could be because your ads aren't that good, okay? And you can fix that by making better ads, all right? The better ads you have, the more curiosity driven, the better your CTAs and getting people to actually opt in, that is going to be the thing that gets you the cheaper leads, right? Just need better ads. You need to optimize your ads. But ultimately, you want to be looking for CPLs that are under $5, right? At the end of that 7 to 10 day period, you want to look at the campaigns that are getting the lowest cost per leads, and you want to double down, right? So if you're spending $5 a day, you want to take that to 10, but only do it on the campaigns that are getting you the lowest possible cost per lead, right? If all of your campaigns are getting under $5 per lead, scale them all, right? Take them from $5 to $10. Let it sit for another 5 days, okay? And then come back and look at your campaigns again and look at your cost per leads. If they're still under $5, scale them to $20 per day instead of $10. Look at your cost per lead, because the more you scale, this is something you need to understand, the higher you scale your budget, it is going to increase your cost per lead price, right? Don't ask me why, because I don't know, but it's just a pattern that I've seen. Your cost per lead is going to go up. some of the, during this early stages of scaling, some of the lead costs are going to go wildly out of proportion. They're going to go to like $15, $20. Don't freak out if that just happens like for one day, because what generally happens is when you add when you add budget to your campaigns, it might spike the cost per lead for the first day following the increase in budget, but it will slowly start to come down again. So that's why you can't just base your observations, your data, off of just one day. You've got to leave it for a minimum of 3 days before you make another budget increase. Okay? But we're going to, every time, we're going to leave it for 3 to 5 days, and we're going to increase our budget by twofold. So say by now we're spending $40 a day, we're going to take that to, $80 a day. Now, as a general rule of thumb for me, I generally have to be spending at least $350 per day on a campaign before I start to see sales. It might be different for you, it's different for everybody, but for me, the magic number is $350. So $350 per campaign, before I'm starting to spend that amount per day, I'm not really making any sales, which kind of sucks, but that's the nature of the beast, right? That's why you need to have at least $5,000 that you are able to effectively throw away in the early stages of advertising on AdWords, because it's unlikely that you're going to get a sale if you're spending less than, I would say, $200 to $300 a day per campaign. And if you've got 10 campaigns, that's quite a lot of money, right? That just applies for me. Some people get lucky, they make their first sale after they've spent like $50. It's rare, but it does happen. And hopefully you do get lucky. But for me, that seems to be the pattern, right? So just make sure that you have enough budget to cover that. And this money is not completely burned, right? You are gathering data. That's what this initial stage is all about. We're going to be looking at the campaigns that are getting the lowest cost per leads, right? And then we're going, like after, say, a couple of weeks of doing this, once we're spending, say, 50 to 100 a day per campaign, then we're going to go into the campaign and we're going to go into the ad group and we're going to look at the ads that are getting us the lowest cost per lead, right? So we're going to have a look through all of these ads and we're going to see which is the winning ad. Now, for some reason, the data is not actually showing up here, but it's not showing in the Hyros data, but it is showing in the actual conversion data, the AdWords data, right? So we can go through here and we can look at the winning, we can go and find the winning ad, right? Which is clearly this one. This one is getting all of the views, it's getting all the conversions, right? And then what you can do is, if there's any ads in here that are getting terribly high cost per conversions, pause them, right? Pause them. Make a note of those ads. Don't ever remake those ads again. You want to try and find your winning ad, and then you want to start recording new variations of that winning ad, because obviously that messaging is working. Would it work better if you had a different background? Would it work better if you had a more professional camera? Would it work better if you were driving in your car? That's what you've got to do at this stage, right? You've got to take that winning ad, make more variations of it using the same messaging in different locations, different environments, different backgrounds and stuff like that. And then once you've made those winning ads, you're going to come back in here and you're going to add those ads into this particular ad group. And then you're going to split test those ads against the other ads and see if you can get an even better performing ad. Because like I told you, it's all about getting the lowest cost per lead possible. That is what is going to make you the most amount of money. This is the entry point of these people into your funnel. If you can get leads for the lowest possible cost, you can ultimately make more sales for the amount of money that you are going to spend, right? We talked about this before. And that is what you're going to be doing in probably the first 2 to 3 weeks of scaling your ads, right? And for that whole 2 to 3 weeks, don't expect to make any sales because you're just gathering data. You're just looking at what's working. both with the ads, with your messaging, and also inside of your VSL, your webinar. You want to go through there because you're probably going to have a few thousand people that would have watched your webinar, and that is great data. You go into the analytics, you look at where people are dropping off, you look at where you can fix it to keep those people engaged, right? That is all the stuff that is your job during that first 3 weeks. You're going to be burning money and you're going to be improving everything, okay? Once you've done that, you're going to start having a pretty good, well-oiled machine. And that takes us onto stage 2 of scaling. So after your first month, after you've spent maybe $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, you should probably start getting sales, right? And what you need to do, as soon as you get a sale on one of these campaigns, it's going to show up. It's going to show up here, sale 1. This is going to be green, right? And it's going to say cost per sale is X amount of dollars. And if this is green over here, then it means that the cost per sale is less than the price of the product. So it means you are in positive ROI. So what you want to do, and if this is happening in a few of your campaigns, if you're starting to get some sales, you want to look at the campaign which is getting you the lowest out of all, the lowest cost per sale. Say your cost per sale is $400, your product price is $997. That means that your profit is $600, which is great. That's like over a 2x ROI. And what I would do at that particular point in time is I would instantly double whatever budget you currently have on that campaign. So if you're currently spending, say, $300 a day, I would instantly double it to $600 a day. This is what I do. I scale quite aggressively, right? And what you'll find is probably tomorrow you're going to get another sale from that same campaign. So if you're spending $600, you double it again to $1,200. If you get another sale, you double it to $2,400 and then $4,800, to the point where you can be spending on one single campaign, you could be spending $11,000 to $15,000 a day on one single campaign. When I was running this for, I think, Ministry of Freedom, I was spending $11,000 on one single campaign every day. But it was doing a 3x ROI. So I was making, 30 grand back from that 11 grand spend, right? And that is a way that you double down, but you need to be able to read this data and know exactly which campaigns are producing sales so you know which ones to spend your money on so you can make even more ROI, if that makes sense. Okay, now, when it comes to scaling, especially if you're going to be taking your campaigns from like $3,000 to $6,000 a day, this is really important, right? The way that you want to do it is you want to do it early in the morning. You want to increase the budget as early as you can in the morning, like 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m. in the morning, if you are awake at that time. The reason we do this is because Google takes your daily budget and it tries to spend it evenly throughout that 24-hour period. Now, if you come in here at, say, 5 p.m. and you increase your budget from 3,000 to 6,000, it's now going to take that 6,000 budget and spend it as fast as possible before 12 midnight. So it's only got like 6 or 7 hours before it hits 12 midnight, right? And that's going to give you unreliable data. You want it to be able to spend that $6,000 throughout the whole 24-hour period evenly, right? Evenly. Now, if you're not awake at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not, what you can do is you can come in here, select the campaign that you want to scale, click on edit, come down here and click on create an automated rule, right? So the rule, let's say that I'm increasing my budget from $3,000 to $6,000. I will call my rule 6,000, right? You come in here, selected campaigns, you choose what happens, and you're going to click on change budgets. You're going to filter by average daily, okay? And you're going to set a new budget, and that new budget is going to be $6,000 or whatever your new budget is. Now, this is important. Don't do this daily. Don't set this to daily. Set it to once. Set it to the next day, okay? So for me right now, it's the 20th of May. So I would set this to the 21st of May, and I would set this from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., right? And then you click on save rule. So what's going to happen is this is automatically going to increase the budget on your behalf as soon as it hits between 12 and 1 a.m. It's going to do that automatically, so you don't need to be awake. That is the best way to scaling. Okay, so in the beginning, you're just going to be focusing on cost per lead. You're going to be scaling the campaigns to get the lowest cost per lead. When you start getting sales, you're going to be scaling according to the lowest cost per sale. And every time you get a sale, you're going to double your budget, right? And you're going to do that until the cost per sale starts creeping up. That means that you've far gone the sweet spot. You need to bring that budget back down. So say you were spending 15 grand a day and the cost per sale was creeping up quite badly. You need to bring that budget back down to like 10 grand a day or 12 grand a day to keep it within that sweet spot, right? As far as the campaigns that are not working, okay, because all campaigns are not created equally. Remember in the previous video, we cloned our campaigns 3 times. So we got business services 3, business services 2, business services 4. Even though these are exact identical carbon copies in every way, shape and form, they perform differently. This one is getting me $2.58 cost per lead. This one's getting me $3.25 cost per lead. This one's getting me $2.16. They are not created equally. So you may have one of your clone campaigns that way outperforms your original campaign. That's fine. What you need to do is switch that original campaign off. When do you switch it off? You switch it off once the total campaign amount has exceeded the price of your product. So say your product is $1,500, you would spend up to $1,500 total on this campaign. If it hasn't produced a sale, kill it. And you kill it by just clicking on remove or pause, right? So you're going to be left out of a total of 10 campaigns that we started with. You might only be left with 2 or 3 winning campaigns. So what do you do at that point? Well, presumably, if you've already recreated your ads multiple times, taken your best winning ad and put those into those campaigns to get that winning campaign, you would then go into that winning campaign and you would clone it 3 times. You would start it off at $5 a day. You would rinse and repeat. You would go back to the beginning effectively and you'd start scaling that one slowly to the point where you're probably only going to need 4 or 5 winning campaigns. Because here's the thing, you can spend 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand per campaign per day. That's all you really need. You know, you get 5 of those campaigns, you're spending 10 grand a day per campaign. That means you're spending 50 grand a day. Okay, and providing those ads are doing at least a 2x ROI, you'll be making at least 100 grand per day back. So you can push it further than that if you want. I got friends that have pushed it further than that. I've never pushed it further than that, right? And you don't really need to. I mean, if you're making 100 grand a day, you know, that's 3 million a month just on the front end. And then if it's 2x ROI, then you're making 750 grand a month back. This is before you even get into your upsells. You know, that's a plenty of amount of money. It does get pretty stressful when you're spending that amount of money per day on AdWords as well. It gets pretty hard to sleep at night because you're worried, what if one of my pages is broken? What if one of my pages is down, you know, and I'm spending 50 grand a day and that page is not even working, I'm just burning money, right? It gets a little bit stressful. But as long as you're able to cope with that stress, then scale this mother as far as you want to go, right? The other thing you can do once you've started making some good sales is you can start going into the demographics, right? So you go into audiences and then you would look at the demographics down here. Now, this wasn't a very good campaign to choose because I don't have any data through, but it will tell you which age range is performing the best, which gender is getting you the most sales, household income, parental status. So for example, in ages, if you're getting 90% of your sales from ages 45 to 54, you might as well close down all of the other age groups in here and just focus all of your money on this age group, because that's the one that's getting you the most sales. Why are you wasting money on these other ones that you're not getting you as much sales? You might as well focus that. The other thing you can do is go into the, I think it's inside the settings here. It's basically the place where you would choose the ad schedule. So like every day of the week or just Monday to Friday. I can't remember exactly where that is, but if you figure out that most of your sales are coming through on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then you can switch your ads off Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just focus that budget that you have on those particular days of the week that are giving you proven to give you the most amount of sales. There's no point in wasting money where you don't need to. You might as well focus it on stuff like that. So that's the next stage of scaling, is to look at that data and figure out where you want to allocate that budget based off of the data that it's given to you, right? Okay, so that is basically it for this video. This is video number 11 of this 12-part series. Video number 12 is actually a private video where I'm going to talk about retargeting and how you can make even more insane amounts of ROI by using retargeting. I'm going to show you how to do it the correct way to set it up, and how you can really maximize a massive amount of ROI from retargeting. I've made a lot of money by implementing these retargeting ads. I'm going to send them to you in a private video. And in order to get access to that private video, which is video number 12, you will need to opt in to the 12-day free video series, which you probably already opted in to anyway. There is a link down below in the description of this YouTube video where you can do that. And then that will ensure that you get access to video number 12 where I go into retargeting. So hopefully I will see you in that next video. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.